Okay, we have a very exciting segment for you guys. It's called Casual First Dates.
And Lord knows you like buff dudes.
Is it ever coming home?
I think the ball's gone soft, so...
These Colombian fans trying to sneak into the Hard Rock Stadium through the ventilation system.
Yeah, build the wall.
I don't watch a lot of sports, but I make it a point to watch Grand Slam final.
Is England the Spurs of international football?
You know, it was so sad to see people complimenting Djokovic for holding serve.
Just like food coming out of his mouth. Fuck this.
They didn't boo him enough. That's why, someone needed to tell him that he should have taken the vaccine or
Exactly.
You guys keep saying tennis game in the last pod as well as tennis match.
Do you all know about Peter Thiel starting the Let's Allow Doping Olympics?
That would be like the boys and A-Train running around.
And I will do a cycle of trend.
Beer Biceps also follows up.
Hey baby, did you hear? Trump just got shot. Hi guys, welcome back to the Casuals. We have an amazing episode in store for y'all. We have Tanay back in studio, Zeus on the third mic. We're going to talk about England, how the Euros is never going to come home. Wimbledon, Alcaraz, amazing. Great day for Spaniards. And then finally finish it off with a very new and exciting segment. It's called Casual Dates. Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Casual first date, I think.
Casual first date.
You all three said different things.
Casual first date is what we're going with. We'll get more. I'll explain what it is as we get into the episode. But Tanay, you're back. How was your trip to Saudi?
Oh, it was great. So this was the second Middle East tournament event that we had with the PFL. Much smoother than the first. We were used to the hotel, the venue and everything. Some fighters, returned and things like that. It was great to see those guys, meet the new fighters and stuff. Event was great. I think every single fight was a finish. So a lot of fun for the fans, and obviously I did a lot of work that whole week.
How many fights on the card?
I think that was 11.
And all knockouts?
No, knockouts, finishes. Submission.
Okay.
Besides one, I think. And that guy had like a very dominant performance. He had 130-25 scorecard as well. No, Francis was not there.
When are you going to meet him?
Hopefully soon.
And don't forget to ask him to come on the Casuals.
I will, for sure.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's the reason why you are doing that job. And that's the reason why we're doing this podcast. You want to get into the episode? Yeah,
but before we get in, so 505 Coffee basically sent us a bunch of coffees and some food as well. We had a muffin and a croissant that tasted really good. These coffees are good as well. So for the best coffee in town, they've just opened up, I think 2 weeks ago. Go to Kemco House, Fort, and 505 Coffee, hit them up. They're doing really well, starting, and it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah, and they sent me some coffee yesterday to stay up for the Euro finals. It was a long day, and that final went on till like 2:30. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting us, and go out there, support them as well. Cool. Amazing ad read by us right there. Let's get into the app. Euros. Is it ever coming home?
Zeus, is it ever coming home?
These shameless guys won an England jersey after that abysmal performance.
Abysmal performance throughout the tournament, but did what they had to do to get to that point. I mean, it will come home one day. The squad is unbelievably young, so it's only going to get up from here. But I mean, Spain deserve this Euros. They've been the best team throughout the tournament. They were also the best team yesterday. But is what it is. Nico Williams with an amazing performance. Him and Lamine Yamal both celebrated their birthday over the weekend, so I don't think it get much better.
Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
Come on the show.
Fuck you. Fuck your birthdays. But yeah, it was first half was a little bit cagey, boring, and second half game really picked up with obviously Nico Williams scoring in the first 2 minutes, and then ice cold Palmer with a 73rd equalizer, and then Mikal Oyarzabal with the winning goal takes Spain 2-1 European champions. Well deserved.
Guess bad day for England, but good day for Chelsea, right? Yeah. With Palmer and
Cucurella honestly has been amazing throughout the tournament. Everyone had his their doubts about him even playing. And obviously Gary Neville had his own words to say. And Sammy, you wanted to say something about that?
Yeah, so this is what Gary Neville said before the tournament about Cucurella. I think he's one of the reasons we think Spain probably can't go all the way. Crazy statement to make, because Cucurella storied that right after winning the Euros and tagged Gary Neville. Amazing thing to do by Cucurella. We love to see all this stuff. And the English never know what they're doing. Seems like it.
I mean, even I think back to Southgate, he played a 3-back like the last 3 games. The game against Netherlands was England's best game of the tournament. It was working really well. Looked like they were finally playing fluid football. And Southgate's like, fuck it. I don't feel like playing a 3-back again. I'm playing a 4-back. He starts Shaw. I think Shaw should have started the whole tournament. But
He wasn't fit, right? That was the problem.
He was fit the first 2 games, then suffered an injury.
Okay.
But I just think if you've started one left back for the entirety of the tournament and now you've reached the finals, there's no need to go changing that. Although, yes, I agree that Shaw should have been the first choice left back, but in this case, Trippier should have started, in my opinion. Although Shaw really did pocket Yamal.
No way Trippier should have started, bro. Like, Shaw's come on in the semi-finals, done really well, and the final he did really well. You can't say someone pocketed Yamal, who was one of the best players in the tournament, and he shouldn't start, right? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't even think that's what you should focus on. You should focus on the other side of that back, which was Kyle Walker. Had an abysmal final.
Yeah. It was abysmal.
And there were so many shouts after the game for Trent to start and how he would have controlled the game and changed the game. I don't really
Doubt
think
it.
He would have made that much of a difference. England fans are going to complain, of
No,
course.
I doubt.
And he is a quality player to have on your bench. But yeah, I think Shaw was fine. It was Kyle Walker who apparently is just fast and there's nothing else he can do.
No, Shaw definitely played well to his, like whatever he could do individually he did, but it didn't fit the system. Like, I just think if you started one player the entirety of the tournament, there's no need to go changing that in the finals. It's just not going to work.
You think the same thing about Kane? Because I definitely don't think he should have started the final.
Yeah, but I just think if it's working so far, no. Kane definitely should have started that
But
final.
Trippier didn't really work, man. First off, it's just hard for a righty to play on the left side outside back.
Yeah.
What are you going to cut in and shoot? No, you're not going to be up. All you have to do is cross.
Yeah.
So being on the wrong side of your stronger foot is always a disadvantage. And Shaw played so well. Like, he didn't do really anything wrong. His interplay is very good.
Yeah, it was.
And even when he came on against the Netherlands, he did really, really well. But yeah, I would say Spain, by far the best team in the tournament. It was Spain and Germany, I would say, but they met pretty early on in the knockouts. And I love seeing Spain back like this, and they're playing even more attacking football. They're not just doing tiki-taka, they're going forward a lot. Dani Olmo, who I thought should have been player of the tournament.
He did win the Golden Boot.
He won the Golden Boot.
with 5 other players.
Yeah. But he had the most assists to go along, right?
Yeah, but I think the UEFA rule change said that now all 6 players share the Golden Boot.
Yeah, it's some weird rule like
Yuck,
that.
man. But like all these guys, Dani Olmo, who is it? Rodri obviously won the player of the tournament.
And he didn't even play the full final.
What do y'all think about that? Did y'all expect Rodri to win player of the tournament?
I expected him to win.
I thought Fabian Ruiz was better throughout the tournament, if you ask me.
And Olmo was better.
And
I think,
Olmo was better.
But Olmo didn't play the entire tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
I still think...
We'll go back to Ziyech's point. If it's working, why switch it? Because of fucking Olmo will win you games, right?
But Olmo came in through injury. But yeah, that point still
But he
stands.
came in, right? Yeah.
Also, huge congratulations to Luis de la Fuente. First manager to win the under-19 Euros, under-21 Euros, Nations League, and now the European Championship. Going into the tournament, I mean, I'm being totally honest, I judged him by the cover. He didn't really give me manager vibes. He was like those caretaker managers. But after the tournament, just yesterday, I saw an amazing... He looks like a Spanish Joe Rogan. That guy's buff. So just on the basis of that...
And Lord knows you like buff dudes.
Exactly. And just on the basis of that, I should have respected him a little more. So apologies. Because he didn't have that intensity of a Pep, Luis Enrique or a Mikel Arteta, nor did he have that style panache of a Carlo Ancelotti. So I'm like, where does he fit in? He has like those caretaker manager vibes. But clearly he doesn't. And if I saw that picture of him before, I would have probably respected him a little more.
And Spain has really not been doing well in the past big tournaments that have happened. Since they won the Euros, World Cup Euros in the 2008 to 2012.
Yeah.
They've done fucking nothing
Yeah.
to like make an impression in all these tournaments. And this guy's come around, changed it. The first match, when I saw Morata as captain, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But then he showed that he can be a really good leader.
It was really good.
Like he might not have scored a lot of goals or anything throughout the tournament, but he was running so hard. He was setting the precedent. He had Lamine and Nico to kind of guide, like we should step up together, do this, do that. So I really respect that now.
Yeah, it was a clear case of a system versus no system. Because, like you said, Morata had a defined role and he did it to the T. Whereas in England, the system kept changing. There were no clear defined roles. So players were confused.
The only defined role was Harry Kane at CDM or something.
Exactly, which was fucking odd.
It was ridiculous.
And Foden just disappearing in every game. But again, with Spain, like in the final, one of your player of the tournament gets injured and gets taken out at the 45th minute. And what's his name?
Zubimendi.
He comes on and puts on a masterclass. That is not possible if you have a system set in place and you are doing, and your instructions are very, very clear, which was not the case with England. Again, Kyle Walker was getting caught out switching between right back to right centre back. And a guy who has multiple families, I would probably expect him to be comfortable with handling multiple roles in a football game. But he couldn't. And that just shows you like the difference between Southgate's instructions and tactics and England's approach in this tournament versus Spain, who were so clear with what they want to do, their plan.
Yeah, you're right. That like for like does not happen, especially with the player of the tournament. Like you can't replace Rodri in the final and have almost nothing change and you still playing so well as a team.
Exactly.
And it's good to see like Spain's never had those flair players and now they have them and
By flair players, you mean?
Nico and Yamal, like fast wingers basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Because before it was all through the middle kind of the...
Xavi and Iniesta
Yeah,
running
and
it.
David Silva from the wing, still a passer and a, you know what I mean? He's not like going to dribble past Walker and things like that.
Yeah.
And Nico and Lamine just taken off and the manager making use of them in the correct way, changing the philosophy enough to make them fit and have a proper impact.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like they've changed their system on its head. I feel like England are still lagging behind. You brought up Nico Williams, but I just want to bring this up. It's very interesting because Nico Williams' parents immigrated from Ghana to Spain. Their original plan was to go to England, but England denied them entry and sent them to Spain. And look what's happened.
Now he's came and bajao them.
Yeah.
What did England say? No more black people on our team.
England said that. We didn't say that.
Yeah, England.
Yeah. Another insane stat about Spain is since May 2001, Spanish teams have played in 27 major finals. Champions League, Europa League, World Cup, Euros. There has been a Spanish winner in all 27 finals.
Oof.
Insane. Like the Spanish dominance, the Spanish way of playing is permeating all throughout, and that's why they are on top.
And it's spilling over into fucking tennis also.
What does this mean for Kane?
I think he posted on Instagram today. I was just I was reading properly to see whether he mentioned, is this it? Or but he said, let's put on the jersey and fight. So he's definitely going to be the captain for the next World Cup.
How do you cope, man? Like everything about you points towards greatness. He's a great player who deserves trophies.
Probably the greatest England player ever.
Stretch.
Probably
But you
is.
still can't do it. You still can't win that trophy. Like at what point, if I was in his position, at what point you turn towards religion and become a full fucking fanatic? God, please fucking help me. This is out of my control. Or like you do an ayahuasca trip where you need some perspective about your life. I know Aaron Rodgers did it before the last season where he went into this dark room and did ayahuasca for 3 days, came out and his entire perspective on his life changed. Maybe Harry Kane needs to do that.
I don't know. I mean, you go to Bayern and don't win in Germany.
Exactly.
0 for 5 with Bayern in all those trophies they had an opportunity for. Yeah, you might need to summon the Lord or whatever the fuck.
Do some heavy drugs.
Yeah.
He needs Messi to baptize him also.
That's what's needed. Another question I wanted to bring up is England the Spurs of international football?
That's harsh.
I know it's kind of a stretch, but they have that Spursy element in them, right?
Yeah, Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. Where teams like Italy, Spain, who've been there, done that, even though on paper they're weak, come up against them knowing that these players are in their own heads and they just need to wait for them to sabotage themselves.
Yeah. I mean, and it's happening for so many years. Like right now, if it's Jude and Foden, before it was Lampard, Gerrard, and those guys.
Yeah.
Still a super team, but they could never get over the hump. Now they're at least making it to semi-finals and finals, which is something to say, even despite playing like shit the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't know, could be a good comparison with Spurs.
And then we've been shitting on Southgate, of course. The system doesn't work, whatever. But he has done, like, let's give him some credit.
He's done very well.
Record is better than
So
a lot of other managers.
pre-Southgate, since 2010, the best England had done was reach the last 16. That was till 2016. So in 2010, last 16, 2012 quarterfinals, 2014 group stage, 2016 last 16. Post Southgate, they've reached 2 finals and a semi-final. I mean, on paper, that's fucking great, right? How much ever hate he gets, he's been awesome.
Yeah, Ferdinand was saying that when do we start blaming the players? Before it was, I think it was Rio or someone else said
I
it.
think
But
Carragher.
Yeah, you're right.
it was
Jamie
Carragher.
said it. He was like, first there was this guy system, 4-4-2 doesn't work in England.
Yeah.
Then this guy plays a very strict system.
Yeah.
Now Southgate is playing boring football. Like, when do we blame these superstar players and not the manager? Because I understand the manager's in charge and everything, but at some point,
The players
the
have
players
to take it.
have to take some responsibility.
Yeah, I think he's going to leave. He's going to be not going to get a new contract.
No, he isn't.
There's a lot of conjecture about that going on Twitter. But it's a classic case of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And in that case, that's the thing with Southgate.
Imagine being a villain when you have the best record in the past 20 years or whatever the fuck, manager-wise.
Yeah. I mean,
So you-
the redemption arc for him would now be to go to Scotland, become the manager, and fuck up England.
I think pre-Southgate, the problem with the England squad was always the Premier League was so intense that even you've seen players like Rio, Rooney talk about it. When they went to camp also as England, they didn't feel like they were playing for England. It's still, when they sat for meals, they were sitting as Manchester United sitting together, Chelsea sitting together. So there was that friction. So I think the best thing Southgate's done with this team is he's created an unbelievable controlled environment in that squad. Like, you see that squad getting along really well. And honestly, for me, I think that's what really will help you go to the next level. Obviously, you have to be playing football on the field, but off the field, you have to like each other. You can't dislike the person you're playing with. You won't feel like passing the ball to him. So, Southgate's created an environment in the team that I think works really well. So, I think that's what he should be given most credit for.
Yeah, so after shitting on him for the system, this is a good thing that he's actually
Yeah.
done. And I remember Rooney saying, I just went and 2-footed Terry for fun in the Prem, and then you can't just be best friends with him a month
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. I think the ball's gone soft, so the Premier League's not as hard anymore.
So again, to put it into perspective, Lars Sivertsen, he's a European football expert, journalist, great follow on Twitter. So this is what he tweeted. Lads, you went into the tournament with no fit left back, no idea who plays in midfield, a half-injured captain and top scorer, and a knackered 21-year-old being asked to hold it all together. Getting to the final and losing to the best team in the tournament is not actually that bad. Which, that's...
All facts.
All facts, but it's also kind of loser talk.
Yeah. A knackered 21-year-old he's played a season of football. He shouldn't just...
That is a bit absurd.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and kind of patronizing, especially if you're an England fan.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone said that about Indian cricket or Arsenal, I would have kind of felt like, shut the fuck up. But like, this is good perspective. And like, the flip side to this is, maybe Southgate should have figured all these things out. Or there
Maybe.
should have been a system in place or he should have been more bold to try a Watkins, a Tony.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you should have to just take that step. It's probably hard to take out a player like Harry Kane, but clearly he was the worst player on the field yesterday. He wasn't even a player on the field. He was like invisible. Jordan Pickford kept pinging that ball to him, and I don't think he won a single header. I don't think he's going for the header.
I think Jordan Pickford's distribution was also really ass yesterday. Everyone, except Cole Palmer, I don't think there was one player that really stood out.
I think
for
Shaw
England.
was good. Shaw was probably the best player on the field.
This guy has flipped in 20 minutes.
It's a matter of system.
He's flipped in 20 minutes. Has some backbone.
No, Shaw was the best player on the field, but he shouldn't have started.
But this is all easier said and done.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Yeah.
looking back, I mean, it could have been another 0-0. England won on penalties, and then all of this would have been, irrelevant. But I don't know. I like that you bring that up. I thought Saka had the best tournament out of any English player.
For the yes.
For the entirety of the tournament.
Yeah, English
he
player
asked
of
him
the
to play
tournament.
like 2 or 3 different positions. He was
Yeah, 3 different
good
was right.
in all of them.
He's been England's player of the tournament for sure.
And about the Kane part, you like Kohli's. I'll compare it to Kohli's T20 World
Everything
Cup. Right?
Kohli.
I'll compare it to Kohli's T20 World Cup, where he had pretty bad performances up until the final. How can you drop him still? You can't, and you can't drop your captain Kane either.
Fair
because
enough.
he is the big player and he is expected. Like Kohli made a 70-75 in the final,
Fair
a
enough.
crucial innings. Harry Kane scores a penalty in the final or something. Like that moment, you need him for. I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
But again, that he was injured. Like Kohli wasn't injured. His form wasn't great going in.
Who's Kane's?
Kohli's.
Kohli's wasn't. Kane's was great.
Great, exactly.
Kane is also the top scorer of the
Yeah,
Euros.
of Europe.
No, one of the top scorers of the Euros.
One of the
also.
five. One of the 5. To round up this Euros chat, I was sitting with some friends watching the game, and we were having a back and forth about. They thought that this Euros has been very disappointing and boring. I, on the other hand, thought that this Euros has been a lot of fun, even though there hasn't been like that one. Their main argument was there was no like clear striker, clear goal scorer who's come out on top, so we don't have that star of the tournament. I would say Lamine Yamal would be one of those.
Yeah. And Nico Williams. But they were saying it hasn't been the best Euros. I, on the other hand, think it has been a great Euros. There have been some exciting games. The smaller teams have showed up. That intensity that they've brought to the tournament has been amazing. I think in the previous tournaments, the smaller teams, in the previous European Championships, the smaller teams have kind of faded away. What do you guys think about it?
I thought it started off really well. Like you said, the smaller teams, and we've discussed this before as well. They're putting up good fights.
Yeah.
Fun to watch Turkey, Switzerland, and all of those teams. But yeah, in the middle, it got super boring to watch fucking England, France, all playing back-to-back and barely scraping wins against not such good teams. So yeah, I agree. It wasn't the best Euros. It started off really fun and then it slowed down and got pretty boring. Obviously, penalties are never boring. I like to watch penalties. Who doesn't? But besides that,
I would tend to agree that I think the Euros are quite boring this year as well.
Okay.
I think we didn't see a single game with like 4 goals, 5 goals.
We did
like,
at the start.
No, like for one team, sorry. Like one team scoring 4 goals.
Germany's first game was like 4-1 and 5-1, yeah.
Okay, apart from the first
But
game
I
of the
think
tournament.
that's a boring game. Like for me, this has been a tournament of late goals.
Yeah, I mean, you say the
And I've
smaller
loved
teams.
that about this tournament. That late goals.
There has been drama
Bellingham's
for sure.
Bellingham's moment.
Yes.
Netherlands
with Turkey.
Yeah.
This final.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final was
Spain, Germany. Late drama. Of course, I get their point that we have to stay up, and then you're giving a lot. You're sacrificing a lot to stay up to watch that game, to just watch that last few moments.
Yeah.
I think it's because the teams that had the most attention on them is England, France, and Portugal.
Yeah.
They really underperformed or
Yeah.
under-entertained, I would say.
Yeah.
They made it far enough, but it wasn't fun to watch them.
Yeah.
And those are the teams that are highlighted the most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say probably like Tanay said, the start of the tournament was more fun because all the teams are involved. So you get to see the smaller teams doing well. Obviously, then the bigger teams start knocking out the smaller teams, and the bigger teams are playing like shit.
Yeah.
So probably that was.
Yeah, an
was
interesting thing that happened at the start was like, you'd be like, okay, the big games we're looking forward to watch. And then the smaller ones we'll just have on the side or watch the highlights. And then it's like 2-2, 3-2 in the
Exactly.
smaller
Turkey,
team
Georgia,
plays.
and all
So,
crazy
yeah.
games.
I also think the World Cup spoiled us. The World Cup happening in Qatar in December, where the players are in mid-season, they're fully fucking ready to go at the peak of their season performance. That World Cup was amazing, a final of 3-3.
Best.
If you compare it to the World Cup, of course, it's been disappointing. But in the grand scheme of things, this European Championship, in my opinion, has been fun because it's been a tournament of late goals.
Yeah, that's a
Fair.
good point. Fair point.
But until the 90th minute, it's been pretty shit.
That Bellingham moment was amazing.
Yeah,
too.
that was crazy.
Even however shit England have been,
Yeah.
it was amazing. Palmer coming on yesterday. Yeah, I'm just kind of repeating myself, but yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the World Cup. Let's move on to the world champions who also won the Copa America yesterday. Messi lifts his second Copa America with the huge help from his teammates this time, Lautaro Martinez especially. He won the Golden Boot. He looked like a super confident player throughout the whole tournament. And he also wasn't starting every game. It was Julian Alvarez who had it, but he really turned up. And yeah, man, I'm super happy every time Argentina wins anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I was watching the Copa America just happening at absurd times. What I really want to talk about is all the ho-halla that was happening around
Crazy.
it, considering that the World Cup is happening there.
In America.
In America, in 2026. The pictures of like the turf coming off from the field, from the concrete. Fans aren't able to get into the stadium. Fans are paying $2,000 and are not being able to get in the stadium. I saw a video of these Colombian fans trying to sneak into the Hard Rock Stadium through the ventilation system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They're
ridiculous.
recreating what happens at the border in their stadiums.
I think at that point, give them a seat. Yeah. You see someone in the
Insane.
bench, just give them a seat.
I mean, what is happening with America and its security?
Build the wall.
So I think even Jimenez, after one of the games, was like, he said, I know you're all going to cut me off now, so I'm just going to say what I have to. And he went off on the security. He's like, our families are down. Like, these guys are going crazy. And like, for half an hour, there's not one
that
police.
was after the semi-final.
Yeah, the semis.
Where
The Uruguay,
Nunes just
Colombia.
lost
Yeah.
No, I
his
think it
shit.
was the third place game.
Third place game?
Yeah.
And even in the semi-final, the Colombia
Even in the
Uruguay
semi-final,
one.
where
Yeah.
Nunes just... And like, I'm saying lost his shit, which is not correct. Rightly so.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because his family was being attacked.
Of course.
And then you just go in a fight or flight
Yeah.
moment. And he was like, if you've seen videos of him after the game where he's comforting his child, he's visibly shaken. Like, that's fucking crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird and unacceptable fucking behavior. I mean, how can you just have all these scenes? You look at how destroyed that stadium was at the back. Like, the escalator is broken. How do you break an escalator?
Yeah.
Like, all the side railings are all fallen and shit. Like,
Yeah, how do you break an escalator?
I mean, unexpected for a country like USA to have security like this. You'd expect them to be like on top of things, or Trump, for example. But yeah, I mean, scary how we're gonna have a World Cup there in 2 years. So
Yeah, if they don't improve the situation, I'm not going to go watch the World Cup.
yeah, we're not going to go cover it with our water bottle mics.
Yeah, anything. And also just images of Messi's ankle
crazy.
Oh my
as
God.
big as a fucking baseball. Is he like...
He was like crying. It was so
I mean,
funny.
he's almost at the end of his career, I
Yeah.
hope.
It's probably his second last game for Argentina ever. I think he'll just play the Finalissima if he's
Yeah,
fit.
probably.
And that'll be it.
So hopefully he makes a comeback.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to see Yamal versus Messi, the match. That's what everyone really cares about anyways. But
Yeah.
it'll be like the passing of the torch.
Yeah, so great day for the Spanish, great day for Barca fans.
Yes.
Um,
They haven't seen too many in recent years, especially
Yeah.
Madrid success and then the
yeah,
whole thing.
it's not directly affecting
Yeah.
them, but they all just do both these players.
I want to
so.
say shout out to James Rodriguez. He won Player of the Tournament at the Copa America.
Rolling back the years.
Yeah, we had forgotten him a little bit.
10 years ago he made his like 2014.
Yeah, 2014 when he turned the fuck up in the World Cup,
Yeah.
and now again 6 assists this tournament. Ball the fuck out. Great to see that.
Whenever James comes up, there's only one thing I am reminded of is there was this horrible headline in the Times of India during his amazing performance in 2014 when they were like, it's James.
Yeah.
James Rodriguez.
Yes.
I remember that. That was hilarious.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
It was pretty horrendous.
Yeah. Like,
We're talking about the headline now, so it must have been pretty it worked.
yeah, but I don't think that was their desired
Outcome.
effect they wanted to have on that.
That was the first headline ChatGPT ever wrote.
Okay, that's all for, I guess, football talk.
Sunday evening, we watched the Wimbledon finals. Alcaraz beat Djokovic 6-2, 6-2, 7-6. Straight sets. I mean, 21-year-old has won his second Wimbledon, second Grand Slam inside 6 weeks because he won the French Open like a month and a half ago. I mean, this guy's crazy, bro. I remember talking about that final as well, where he gets to every ball. He hits incredible shots. He has high IQ and things like that. And to go up against Djokovic, who is the greatest of all time, arguably, with 24 Grand Slams, he's done it again. And I mean, Djokovic has also respect to him. He's come back after a month, just after a month of knee surgery, and he's made the finals. He played really well in the third set, but couldn't do enough. And Alcaraz, better man again.
You're giving a lot of respect to Djokovic, and as you should. But I watched it with Rohan, who's on the third cam right now, and that was not the case when we were watching it together. So we have him here. His reactions were hilarious.
You won't believe I don't watch a lot of sports, but I make it a point to watch Grand Slam finals. I love watching tennis. I think it's one of the most fun spectator sports in general. It's always on. It's always fun. And Sunday it was just off, man. It was like we'd ordered butter chicken. We had like a full mahal ready to enjoy it. And I'm watching the third set. I'm like, is this it? This is where the game starts getting interesting. And it was... it was so sad to see people complimenting Djokovic for holding serve.
AKA me.
Yeah, like, wow, look at this. So he's held serve. I was like, bro, he broke one game like in the third set, and people are like, oh, he's turning it around. I'm like, bro, this is dog shit. And
at that point when I was like, okay, he can stretch the game, maybe Rohan was like, no, Djokovic should just lose it now. He shouldn't like waste another hour of my life. I want this to end. I want to go off to sleep and please leave my house.
I can imagine the two messiest eaters having butter chicken with their fucking hands and shit.
I had butter paneer.
I didn't eat till the match was over. Sammy ate. Fucking pig.
Just like food coming out of his mouth. Fuck this. Is the one sporting event I watch all year.
Usually I'm the little aggressive type who's like, this is a waste of my time. But I guess the roles are reversed this time because I was watching it with Rohan, and Rohan was the one who was going off, and I was trying to like...
And my journey with like tennis has been like OG Federer days. And then Nadal came in the picture and I was like, fuck Nadal. I was like, I don't like this new guy. He's too fit. Where's the grace in the game? Where's the like panache and stuff? And then... Nadal starts beating Federer and he grows on you. He's got that real charm. After the game, you see the humility. And then Djokovic came on the scene. And I was like, fuck this guy. And then I was just cheering for Federer and Nadal, anyone who could keep Djokovic down. And then in the last 3 years, when this new crop has come up, man, I'm like, any of you big three, just hold the fort down a little longer. And watching Djokovic get walked in 3 sets in a Wimbledon Grand Slam final was just painful.
By a 21-year-old.
By a 21-year-old.
Yeah. Just to put it into perspective, some records that were broken. So Alcaraz is the youngest to win a title at French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back, 21 years old and 70 days.
Amazing.
He surpassed stars including Andy Murray and Stan Wawrinka as a 4-time major winner. He's 21 and he's already surpassed these greats. So Rafael Nadal is the current holder of the record for the youngest player in the men's category to complete a career Grand Slam. And he was around 24 years. Alcaraz only has to win the Australian Open and he's only 21. He has 3 more years to break this record. He's so far ahead of all these people already. And this game felt like maybe changing of the guard finally.
You guys keep saying tennis game in the last pod as well as tennis match.
Tennis match.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tanay.
Yeah, that was annoying me.
It did not feel like one though, man. It felt like I was watching. It was sad to see Djokovic in that state, not going for balls. I know he's off a knee injury, but then something's off with the seeding. I would have preferred the semis that Alcaraz played have been the final.
But yeah, the seeding, they were 1 and 2, so, they would have never
tough,
played
and
before.
Djokovic got a pretty easy path in, and it was just not... it was not the final anyone wanted, I think.
Definitely not what Rohan wanted.
Yeah.
He definitely had an easy path, and he was also talking a lot of shit after the quarterfinal and semi-final because the fans were booing him and things like that. So
They didn't boo him enough. That's why, someone needed to tell him that he should have taken the vaccine or
Exactly.
something. Pissed him off into...
vaccine, this is not the overcorrection.
At some point, Rohan was just screaming at the crowd. And he's like, someone go onto the fucking tennis court and slap the fuck out of him so he wakes up.
Wake him up.
And entertains me right this minute.
He's too happy in life. He's got his
He's too
family he
content.
loves. He's too content. He
He
doesn't
has
have
everything,
that...
yeah.
I don't think so. He has the best mentality out of all these guys, bro. He's won so much.
Yeah. I saw you sent me that video of Andy Roddick has this tennis podcast, and certainly puts into perspective what Alcaraz did to Djokovic. Djokovic was like almost laughing on court, like, what do I even do? And hats off to Alcaraz, man. I'm just waiting till like someone comes and starts fucking with Alcaraz a bit. And I love an underdog, so when you see someone just too much in control, it kind of makes it tough to watch.
You love underdogs like Federer and Nadal.
It was weird when Nadal came up. There was a time when it felt like Federer was the underdog playing against him. And I used to love Federer then, I used to love
I think that's a narrative you made up in your head about Federer being the underdog.
At a point when Nadal started taking over,
Yeah.
there was a period.
It went back and forth. That was the beauty
and
of
Nadal was the young blood. He was stronger by every metric. Federer was on his way out, and
Yeah. But coming back to this game, I just felt like Alcaraz had so much time for each shot. And it felt like Alcaraz was in Djokovic's head, especially in the first two sets. And at times, Djokovic did slip up. Alcaraz did slip up, but it seemed like his speed made up for it. Like, even though sometimes he didn't know where the ball was exactly going to land, he'd make up with his speed. He's so fucking
that
quick.
behind the back just return.
So there was a shot where Djokovic got it up above his head and he smashed it right down at Alcaraz. Alcaraz was already there and he played it behind his back mid-air. That still is insane.
You watch the slow-mos, Alcaraz is like a foot in the air hitting
Yes.
these shots. It's
We are not doing it justice, like talking about
Yeah,
it. We'll
it's-
put up some images on the screen, but
of how the force, you can feel it through the screen that he's putting into the thing. But man, he must have been in Djokovic's head, because the number of unforced errors, something you never ever see from Djokovic. He's the most stable, consistent guy, sitting short at the net, and he's just putting it into the net.
yeah, it's like when you're playing rock, paper, scissors against someone and you keep losing, you feel like someone's in your head, they're controlling your every move. And no matter how random you are with your rock, your paper and your scissor, they already know what you're going to do. That's how it felt like watching Alcaraz and Djokovic. And I went into the game thinking, I was like, okay, I want Alcaraz to win, Djokovic should lose. But it almost became so sad and so boring to watch. I completely flipped. I'm like, Djokovic, do something, bro.
You'd given the analogy of someone else who'd lost in a final and then come back, Tom Brady and
Pat Mahomes. So that's the mentality I went with when Tom Brady lost to Pat Mahomes when he was with the Pats. And then the next year he went to the Bucks and he beat Pat Mahomes because Tom Brady's that veteran.
He big brothered him basically.
He big brothered him. And I'm like,
that's
what's going to happen with Djokovic, because Djokovic has been in the same situation last year. He knows what's going to happen. He's too smart. He's still there physically. Of course, his knee gave way, but...
I thought when Alcaraz had 3 match points, it was 5-4 in the third set, and Djokovic came back and he broke him. And then he lost the tiebreak in the third one. So that I thought was going to be a huge turning point in the match, but it didn't end up that way, unfortunately. Because Alcaraz had 1 or 2 double faults in that game. He was, a lot of unforced errors and stuff. He had 2 let services, which never happens. So that's when I thought it might switch, and now Djokovic is going to make it a 5-setter or something. Didn't happen.
And I'm glad you bring that up, because we were watching it, just Rohan and I, full volume, so we were hearing whatever the audience at the Wimbledon Final was saying. So right before that double fault, he had 3 match points, right?
Yeah.
At that time. Right before that happened, someone in the crowd screamed something and set Alcaraz off. So he made that double fault and then he lost 2 points back to back, and then Djokovic climbed into the game. So it wasn't even Djokovic playing well. It was someone on the outside fucking with him.
It was 3 match points. Alcaraz has a sitting volley smash ready to hit it. So it's not on a serve.
Okay.
Ball's coming down, someone goes, yeah! And Alcaraz nets that shit, dude.
You're not allowed to do that, actually.
Yeah,
You
you're not.
fucked him up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I feel like in some other situation where it was a closer game, the ref may have even called a let or something on that.
Yeah.
But this was just like, man, Alcaraz, you're like 6-2, 6-2
Yeah.
up. You've got 3 match points. Just fucking take
Finish
the
it
L
off,
on
yeah.
this one. I did want to comment on one thing which has just been a pet peeve of mine always, is watching these players who don't speak English well, being for whatever reason feel like they have to give their speech in English. Because I feel we lose so much. I mean, what is Carlos Alcaraz does not speak English very well. He speaks Spanish.
I just want to say, before Carlos Alcaraz came up, Rohan was bitching. I'm like, he should just talk in Spanish. I know exactly what he's going to say. And Rohan said what he was going to say. And verbatim, Alcaraz came on the mic and said the exact same thing.
Because what else is he going to say?
What were the lines?
Carlos Alcaraz, how did you feel when you have 3 match points against Novak Djokovic and it didn't go your way? Then what was going through it? Novak Djokovic, obviously a very great player. You have to just play 1 point at a time. You have to just keep trying, and very happy to be here and very proud of childhood dream. Novak Djokovic, one of the greats, and thank you God, thank my family, his team. I'm like this whole standard thing. When he was asked another question about what was it like to play on the French Open on clay, and now to play here in Wimbledon on grass at such a high level in such a short period of time. Imagine the insight this kid has, into the differences between clay and grass and making that transition. And said, no, it's a beautiful stadium, Wimbledon, childhood dream. I always wanted to play here. Novak Djokovic is so great. And I'm like, man, just let him speak. What am I getting out of hearing him speak in English? Let him speak in Spanish. Let him give me the insight and get a translator to do it. So meanwhile, you have some white chick calling him hot for 20 minutes.
That was wild.
I think that's because it's Wimbledon and it's in England. That's why maybe it's in English.
No, they did the same thing
Did they do that in the French Open as well? Because Australia and US is again English-speaking nations.
I think we would have gotten more out of it in English had it been translated, is my whole point. Like, even if it's in English, what am I hearing in English?
I think in the future, with all the AI technology that's happening, I think they might start doing
here
that.
they don't need AI. Here they can just get a translator.
You can get it done.
But look at Nadal. I mean, look at how he used to give his first few speeches, just broken English, and now they get so much PR training over the years. Alcaraz has not gotten all of that yet. He's so young. He's so green. But anyways, man, it was quite disappointing. And there was no way I was staying up for another possible disappointment after that. But that was not
when I told Rohan the Euro Finals was at 12:30, want to watch? No, fuck no. Get the fuck out. Anything else on Wimbledon?
Nah, it's got it. This segment.
That's excited to see where Alcaraz takes it from here. I had one small thing. I just had one small thing. What does this mean for Joker? People on the internet are saying he's a stat padder. He has the most Grand Slam wins, no doubt. But now with the emergence of Alcaraz, this is one of the first tougher opponents he's played with the retirement of Roger Federer and Nadal. Because if you think about it, he's beaten lesser opponents in those Grand Slam finals like Tsitsipas, Zverev, Casper Ruud, Nick Kyrgios. And in the absence of those greats, he's just racked up so many Grand Slams. I am not saying this. People on the internet are saying this. So what do you all think about that?
I mean, he plays the tournament. Whoever's against him, he'll have to face. How can you call someone a stat padder who beats everyone in front of them?
I agree with you.
Not like Jordan's padding his defensive stats and everything like that. Right? He's actually playing the match and he's winning. Win or lose is not a stat. It's a fact. And he's doing that against whatever competition is here.
Yes. But
that just shows where Alcaraz is, right?
Yeah.
To 3-0 Djokovic, who's still walking players 15 years younger than him.
And also, does this mean Alcaraz, his goal should be 30 Grand Slams, considering the competition he has around him? right now.
I hope not, man. I hope this next year, I hope we get another big three.
Rohan will stop watching tennis.
Only sport I watch. What am I gonna go watch ping pong or some shit like this after this or what? Like
Olympics are coming. You can actually do
Olympics
that.
are coming, yeah.
But no, fuck that. If you start any sport as a professional, your goal should be to have 80 Grand Slams, bro. Why not?
Yeah. And also, huge respect for Djokovic. He had a knee surgery. Not once did he bring it up in his post-match interviews that I had a small niggle, this bothered me. He didn't say that.
He'll get his ACL operated on and play 5 weeks later,
Yeah,
but won't take the vaccine. Huh?
Okay.
This guy has like...
Do you think there's some doping going on?
I think all professional sports have doping. And
Okay.
I mean, Nadal's been popped for doping.
Yes.
So I think at that level, there are like ways people plan to get around it. They take it in the off season. Pretty much every professional athlete is going to
This is
dope.
very much in season because it happened right after the French Open.
That happens in every sport, that the testing happens the day of, the day after, the day before. Before that,
just
you go
plan
to a
it.
doctor, regulated this much. If the limit is like, let's say 2 or whatever, 1.9 you're good, everyone is at 1.9.
Okay.
And
That's
people
how they
think of
hack it.
steroids as this one like big lump sum thing.
Yeah, the
Most
whole
of these are
bunch of shit,
recovery driven.
Yeah.
I mean, these tennis players are burnt to the ground. That's why doping in baseball is also so big, because of how much they had to play. It's
Yeah.
not always like, let's build bigger muscles. A
Right.
lot of these...
Again, my point is not to take away from Djokovic's accomplishment. It's just something I wanted to bring up and talk about because this recovery is insane, right? Like, he's playing a fucking Wimbledon final after going through a surgery.
I wouldn't be surprised if even Alcaraz has some level of performance
100%.
enhancement.
Like,
No, but all of them, like, McGregor broke his leg, right?
Yeah.
And he can't fight when he's on those things. So he took the dosage when he was going through that. And now by the time he fights, he's going to be clear. He's going to piss clean.
yeah.
So they all regulate and they know exactly what to do.
Do you all
Yeah.
know about Peter Thiel starting the Let's Allow Doping Olympics?
Yes.
Yes.
The Invincible Games, right? That sounds fucking amazing. Cancel the regular Olympics. Put that in.
We deserve as an audience to have the greatest possible athletes that science and engineering can give
That
us
would
today.
be like the boys and A-Train running around and everything.
Yeah.
What
Well, yeah.
chemicals? Let's do it. But if the Invincible... We are proponents of the Invincible Olympics, Invincible Games. If y'all want to sponsor us, come on the pod.
Yeah, just come.
Tanai will do a cycle of trend.
And then we can document it. It'll be an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing piece.
And then he'll finally do those burpees, huh?
No, he doesn't need to do it. Zias has to do that. Or we could put Zias on trend. That would be more interesting.
You put ZS on a diet first.
Yeah, and finally, I just want to give a quick shout out to Nick Kyrgios. He was on the mic. Super fun, super entertaining, very relatable. I think tennis commentary sometimes gets lost with the gap between the speaker and the audience. He was super entertaining, and he's giving live commentary and how those players must be feeling at that particular time when he's like, oh, Djokovic might be trying this. He's not looking like himself. Maybe he should do this. And it was just
Oh,
a lot of fun.
Djokovic, you're killing me. What do you do? You know, he's
Yeah, he
just
was
having
like-
fun with it. He's
It's
color commentary,
Yeah.
like what Joe Rogan kind of did
Exactly.
to pick
For
up the
UFC.
USP. Maybe
Nick Kyrgios could do that for tennis. At least it made it so much more fun to watch for me.
Definitely.
It's very refreshing because he makes it relatable. Some of the lingo is more of what we understand, our generation.
Yeah.
And I call him Hood Nick because he walks like that, he talks like that, he plays like that. And he seemed kind of like a prick when he was playing, but when his commentary, he's really empathized with all the players and made it very relatable to watch. So I agree. Great having him on the mic.
Yeah. Cool. That was about it for tennis.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rohan.
So as we were talking about the Wimbledon on Saturday, the women played. Krejčíková beat Paolini 6-2, 2-6, 6-4. And we were talking about it, and then Rohan got up because he don't give a fuck about that.
Damn.
And ZS is back to talk about it. But yeah, great performance, Krejčíková. It was an interesting final, more interesting than the men's because it was less one-sided.
Say that ZS only watches women's tennis for the sounds they make.
And the short skirts. And the short skirts.
Disavow.
But Sammy, you had something to say about Paolini.
Yeah, a really interesting fact is that Paolini had never won a match at Wimbledon before this tournament, and she reached the final. She reached the final of the French Open before this, and now the Wimbledon. So kudos to her. It was a great match. Hopefully she wins a final soon. She's also a really pleasant person to listen to, talk to after the matches. And
Yeah, she's basically been to 3 finals now in the last 2 Grand Slams, because she was in the doubles finals as well at the French Open. So
yeah.
she's doing so well, but she's not getting past that hump.
Yeah, and all this while I thought she was like 19, 20, you know, those one of those up and coming players. She's 27, 28. She's like been around on tour. So hopefully it happens for her soon, and then when it does, it's going to be the best thing ever.
Yep.
That was all tennis talk, finally.
So I just thought I'll tell you guys what's going to happen. Tanay and Sammy are sitting very awkwardly as they do on first dates. It's been a minute. Cut them some slack. But girls and mostly guys out there, they're single. So take it away. What's this new segment called, guys?
Okay, we have a very exciting segment for you guys. It's called Casual First Dates. So in this segment, we are going to bring up things we would like to talk about on a first date with our significant other or potential significant other. Tanay, you want to go first?
Yeah, so actually, contrary to what Rohan said, I went on a couple dates 2 weeks ago.
What's up?
And the first thing I said was, "Hey, sweetie." Have you heard about the casuals? I'm on a podcast. Just hit 1K views on a YouTube video.
Hey!
And then people really went off on me and gave me 85,000 views on one single clip. Let's not discuss the comments and everything. I hit it and I showed it to her, just the views. And she seemed to be super impressed because I got a second date out of it.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. So, viewers, listeners, take a note of that. This is what you should be doing on your first dates.
Just brag about yourself.
Start
talk
a podcast.
About sports that women love.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate all this talk. So
Exactly. And if they aren't into sports or podcasts, this is what you should bring up. And this is what I would bring up on a first date if I had one in the near future.
I got a tip for you as well. So use this and then add saying Beer Biceps also follows us.
Amazing.
That'll work even better. Because all the women, they watch the biceps, protein videos and things like that.
Do you think that sealed the deal for you for the second date? She heard that and she's like, we must go on a second date now. And yeah, if they don't want to talk about sports, politics is something that women love to talk about. So this is what I would do. Hey baby, did you hear? Trump just got shot.
And then play in the background, many men. Many. And they love, these woke women love Republicans and the, not woke. They love talking about Trump and his misogyny.
They actually
and
love
like
being
that.
called these woke women.
Yes.
I think that's the thing they like
Separate
most.
them out.
Oh my God. And then to follow up with the Trump just got shot.
Quick question. You think it could have been staged?
That would be my question.
Yeah.
So we have Rohan over here, who is a political expert on the overcorrection.
At least if I had to stage this shooting, I would probably have Trump go down and then someone splashes like a little paint on his head before he comes up and he pops back up. I didn't see any footage where you can actually see the blood coming out in a moment.
Yeah.
So I was a little suspect. And what was even the craziest part to me about this is he said he got saved because for that split second, he glanced over at the statistics around how many illegal immigrants are entering this country at that moment. And I was like, bro, this is scripted. You're telling me you just got shot, a huge jump in the polls, and the reason you're giving for your being alive is that you were looking up stats about illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Because Colombia played in the final, na? Copa America.
I definitely think it was staged, man. There were so many videos of people from the audience spotting the shooter way before and trying to alert the police, the authorities, and nobody did anything. That guy's just rolling around on the terrace, doing what he wants, like setting up the scope. And people in the audience were like losing their shit. They're like, someone's on the terrace, do something about it, for like a good 10 minutes, and nothing happened. So
I mean, we got a very iconic picture out of it.
amazing.
And like Rohan said, the polls are up for Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Sammy may not have got a second date, but Trump is going to get a second term.
Or they were, or maybe from the Democratic side, they were trying to make the election a little more balanced with making both the candidates a little brain dead.
These videos of their debates are ridiculous. They started arguing about who'd win in a game of golf.
And they would talk about it. The casuals would cover that. I live for that shit.
100%.
I get into golf. I get into golf.
Next,
go
we're going to
golf.
have to do some shots. Tanya is going to judge their golf swings.
I
I'm not a big golfer or anything.
I would become an expert.
Yeah.
Bro. But yeah, this is what we would bring up on a first date. I mean, amazing. Thank you so much, Tanay. I'm going to use this in my next date.
It works.
Yeah, flex about our amazing podcast, the hard work that we do week in, week out to bring you guys amazing, amazing content. I think we should end it there.
Yeah.
Great segment, guys. Listeners, let us know what you think about that segment. Do you want us to keep doing it? Do you want us to scrap it? And if you guys ever go on a first date, use one of these lines and let us know what your date thinks about it.
If one comment about this gets enough likes, we will secretly videotape an actual date they go on.
No.